one man would be working with ink and the other man working with paper. These are my tools for inking. They have wooden handles, sheep's wool stuffed inside, and leather on the outside. The shiny stuff on the leather is the ink. These aren't at all like sponges. The ink's not inside, it's just sitting on the outside. I have a tray of ink right over here, and every few sheets I need a little more ink out of the tray and spread it all around. And now what I want to do is just tap these gently against the lead pipe. The trick is to put down exactly the right amount of ink for one sheet. This is all done one at a time. If I worked for Ben Franklin, he would tell my team that we had to make 2,000 sheets today. So I have to ink 2,000 times, or I could take turns with the other fellow. And the first person can step aside, and the second person will step up with a sheet of paper. Now we're doing paper. You might want to come watch. So today, of course, we use trees to make paper, but in Franklin's day, it's made from old clothes. So things like your socks ended up as a sheet of paper. It's linen or cotton. It's fabric. Today, it's cotton that I have. We're going to dye the fabric with the ink to make the words appear. And if I worked for Ben Franklin, I'd be in a lot of trouble for going too slow. I should have had the job done already. A good team could print a sheet in about 15 to 20 seconds. That's 3 to 4 sheets per minute. There's nothing slow about this. It's all just human power. And you'll see why it's called a printing press. The pressing block just drops down and presses the paper and the ink all together. Franklin started to learn all this when he was 12. He worked for his older brother, James, in Boston. Ran away when he was 17, came here to Philadelphia, and made a fortune as a printer. And he was able to retire from active participation in business when he was 42. He lived to be 84. The whole second half of his life to be involved in science and especially in politics. Benjamin Franklin was 81 years old when he signed the paper, one of which that I'm printing today, the Constitution. Today, what I have on the press, 3 separate items. We the people. That's the Constitution of the United States, the preamble to it. And that was actually signed inside Independence Hall a week ago in 1787, September 17th, 1787. Then I also have a quote from Poor Richard's Almanac. Hide not your talents, they for use were made. What's a sundial in the shade? And the cut-up snake, join or die. Franklin does that on the eve of the French and Indian War. So he's warning the colonists we need to stick together against that threat. So often we think of it later with the American Revolution, but 1754. This is wet, so now it needs to go up to dry. If you look up, you see the drying racks right above your heads, and that's now where this will go. There we go. Thank you, Ray. So I'd like to leave you with a thought from Poor Richard's Almanac. Benjamin Franklin wrote, "If you'd not be forgotten, as soon as you are dead and rotten, either write things worth reading or do things worth the writing." I like that because Ben Franklin did both, and it's good advice for the rest of us.
All right, thank you.
Sure, you guys have any questions for me? Questions? Cases. And we keep the little letters, the lowercase letters, here in the lowercase. They're not alphabetical in the lowercase. The letters we use most commonly, mostly vowels. They're here in the center in these big bins, vowels and spaces. But then the letters I don't use so frequently, they're around these edges that you see here. So these are all lowercase letters, some spaces, and some special characters, some punctuation. Up top, in my uppercase, I keep capital letters. So, of course, we use those terms today, uppercase and lowercase. And they are in alphabetical order, with the exception of U's and J's, which are later additions to the alphabet. So they come at the end rather than in their alphabetical order. Now the type comes in a whole variety of sizes. We're familiar with point sizes from using the computer today, like 10-point type or 12-point type. So what you're looking at here, this is 12-point type, but I have spaces that are and pieces that are much smaller. And typically they used very small type, fitting in lots of words onto a page. There's also designs. Those are called ornaments. And you'll see that in some of the things that we've printed here. So all different kinds of things made out of a piece of metal. This is made from lead with a little bit of antimony. That makes it just a little bit harder. Okay, is that good for you, sir?
Thank you.
All right.